Have you ever felt alone, even in a room full of people? They laugh, talk, live, but somehow you still feel invisible. This is the kind of loneliness no one sees, but everyone carries. Loneliness is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it hides behind a smile. Sometimes it looks like a person surrounded by friends, yet feeling miles away from every voice around them. This is Daniel's story. A man who had people everywhere, but connection nowhere. Daniel's friends laughed loudly at the table, sharing stories, memories, excitement. He laughed too, but only because he trained himself to. Inside, he felt like a ghost, present but unseen. He asked himself, why do I feel alone when I'm with everyone? That's the hidden loneliness. It doesn't come when you're by yourself. It comes when you're with people and still feel like you don't belong. After dinner, Daniel stepped outside. The warm light stayed behind him, but the cold night air felt more honest. He whispered to himself, why does being alone feel easier than being with people? A question he had avoided for years. On a nearby bench sat an older woman with a calm presence, as if she could see right through him. She looked up and said softly, "You're not tired of people. You're tired of pretending." Daniel froze. How did she know? He sat next to her without thinking, not because he trusted her, but because he trusted the truth in her voice. She said, "Loneliness is not about being alone. It's about being unseen in the places where you wish you mattered." Daniel's chest tightened. She continued, "You feel alone not because no one is around, but because no one is with you. You are surrounded by people who hear your voice, but don't feel your silence." Her words hit him like a quiet storm, because she was right. And if you've ever felt unseen, even around people you care about, tap the like button, not for the algorithm, but to remind yourself, you're not the only one. Daniel walked beside the woman as the golden streetlights flickered on the pavement. She said gently, "Loneliness isn't something you feel. It's something you carry. It shows in your eyes, in your silence, in the way you walk away before people can really see you." Daniel swallowed hard. He always thought he hid it well, but loneliness doesn't hide forever. It leaks through your smile, your forced laughter, your distant gaze. He whispered, "So it's not that I'm alone. It's that I don't feel understood?" She nodded. "That's where loneliness truly begins," she continued. "Most people wear masks. They smile when they're breaking. They perform happiness because they fear being a burden. You do the same, don't you?" Daniel looked down. He did. He always did. "Loneliness doesn't come from being unheard," she said. "It comes from being unexpressed. You've never let anyone see the real you, so of course no one knows how to hold you." Her words stung because they were true. He sat down on a bench, and the woman sat beside him. He admitted quietly, "It's easier to be alone than to feel alone with people." She nodded slowly. "Of course it is. When you're alone, the pain is honest. When you're with people who don't see you, the pain becomes unbearable." Daniel closed his eyes. For the first time, he wasn't running from the truth. He was facing it. The woman spoke softly. "You're not broken, Daniel. Your heart learned to protect itself. You stopped opening up because every time you did, you felt unseen. So now, even when people are around, your heart stays hidden." Daniel whispered, "Then how do I fix it?" She smiled gently. "And if these words feel like they're speaking to you, if you've worn the mask, if you've felt invisible, if you've been lonely, even in a crowded room, Hit the like button, not for the video, but to say to yourself, I'm not alone in this. The woman led Daniel toward the river, where warm, golden reflections moved gently across the water. You're not lonely because no one cares, she said. You're lonely because you stopped trusting connection. Daniel frowned. What do you mean? She looked at him with soft empathy. You've been hurt so quietly, so repeatedly, that you trained yourself to expect disappointment instead of understanding. Her words hit harder than anything before. He wasn't lonely because people didn't try. He was lonely because he didn't let them reach him. A self-built cage that felt like protection, but acted like isolation. Daniel sank down slowly, his hands covering his face. The weight of years pressed onto his chest. He finally whispered, I push people away before they get the chance to leave me. The woman nodded gently. That is the heart of loneliness. Not the absence of people, but the fear of losing them. She knelt beside him. You've been preparing for abandonment. Even when no one was abandoning you, you protected yourself. So much that you ended up protecting yourself from love as well. Daniel felt something break inside him. Not in a painful way, in a freeing way. He stared at his reflection. Blurred, fragmented, incomplete. The woman said, You're lonely because people only know your surface. You never showed them your fears, your hopes, your sadness, your truth. You are alone because no one has truly met you yet. A tear slid down Daniel's face. For the first time, he didn't wipe it away. Daniel slowly lifted his head. You mean I can change this? He asked. The woman smiled warmly. Loneliness dissolves the moment you let yourself be seen. Not by everyone, just by someone. Start with honesty. Start with one person. Start with yourself. Daniel breathed deeply. For the first time that night, something inside him felt lighter. If you've ever felt unseen, unheard, or emotionally disconnected, tap the like button. Not for this video, but for you. A quiet declaration that says, I'm ready to be seen again. Daniel stood beside the woman, the warm reflections of the river, moving quietly beneath them. He whispered, So connection begins. With me? She nodded. Connection begins when you stop hiding, when you allow someone to see the parts you've tried to protect. Daniel felt something shift, not loudly, not dramatically, but clearly. The woman turned to him. You don't need a crowd, she said. You don't need everyone to understand you. You just need one person who truly wants to know you. One person who listens, not to respond, but to understand. Daniel exhaled deeply. For years, he tried to fit into groups, into expectations, into places where he didn't belong. Maybe loneliness wasn't a lack of people. Maybe it was a lack of truth. You're not broken, she said softly. You're just closed. And that's okay. Hearts close when they're hurt, but they open again when you finally meet someone who doesn't require you to pretend. Daniel felt tears rising. Not from pain, but from relief. For the first time, his loneliness had a name. And even more important, it had a cure. They began walking again. Daniel noticed something. The night didn't feel as heavy. The shadows didn't feel as intimidating. And the silence didn't feel empty anymore. The woman said, When you understand your loneliness, it stops owning you. When you let someone in, even just a little, the darkness breaks. Under the warm glow of a streetlight, the woman stopped. Daniel, she said, the loneliness you feel is not a life sentence. It is a signal, a sign that your heart is longing to be known. And the moment you show yourself, even to one person, the loneliness begins to fade. He nodded slowly. He finally understood. Daniel walked into the night, no longer hidden, no longer pretending. He wasn't suddenly healed, and he wasn't suddenly understood. But for the first time, he was willing to be honest, willing to open up, willing to be seen. And that's where loneliness ends. Not when people appear, but when you appear. You do not heal loneliness by being surrounded. You heal it by being known. If this story touched you, leave a like, follow for more, and tell me in the comments, I want to be seen. Because you deserve connection. You deserve understanding. And most of all, you deserve to be known.